You said in Europe?
Yes.
So you would want to relocate in Europe?
I would like to relocate to Europe, yes.
Um, Unfortunately, um, that's something that's gonna be very difficult to work around because we really do need you here in the San Francisco office. Um, so we could do like a split sort of situation where like you could like have
Okay, so this first clip is part of the beginning of our negotiation where one of the main topics brought up immediately and discussed was location. Um, I mentioned to him that location is going to be an issue, and I let him know that we need him in San Francisco. I feel like this was a good approach on my part, so that right off the bat he knows where I stand and he doesn't expect much um right during the rest of this meeting. However, where I did make the mistake was when I offered the split situation. I honestly had absolutely no intentions to agree um with him on doing a split situation between offices, so I kind of set myself up and I gave him an offer that I was not willing to give him. Um, so this honestly made me look bad. Um, and this also made him feel like it was a possibility and it gave him more room to feel like he could discuss it more with me, even though I knew that's something that I didn't want. I honestly should have waited for him to bring that up.
the case. The other parts of the agreement, like if we were to do that, would kind of just be off the table because now, if I were, for example, if I were to give you a salary raise, I wouldn't consider giving you a big raise anymore just because the company would already be covering the expense of you coming back and forth. So there's not much room for discussion for other things in our agreement to be changed.
So in the second clip, I'm telling him that if I do agree on letting him go to Europe or doing the split, then other things on the contract wouldn't change or I would have to take some things away. I tried to use this to corner him and make him feel like going to Europe was not the best option. However, he did mention that he didn't even care about things like salary. He really just cared about being in Europe. So this point pretty much seems irrelevant. That's something that I could definitely work on in future negotiations is really like tackling down and seeing what the other party truly wants. Because this point that I made didn't really do anything for me. So if I can go back, I would probably be much more reasonable, seeing that really I'm actually the one who's disadvantaged here, and he's the one that's threatening to leave. So.
Potential me leaving you right now, wouldn't it seem more beneficial if I'm doing the split rather than completely leaving you and then you're even more short-staffed?
I just feel like, honestly, we have another candidate,
Okay.
However, we really like you. I really want to work this out with you. Like, I really, really want you. So I would hate to have to hire, like, I would rather work other things out in our agreement.
Okay, so here's something that I immediately noticed that I do a lot is that I make a lot of facial expressions. This is something that I need to work on within this negotiation and like future debates and negotiations. I feel like having a poker face would definitely benefit me and not let the other party know what I may be thinking about. Um, one strength that I do have, however, that I saw that I did was that I kind of boosted his self-esteem a lot, and I made sure to do that throughout the entire negotiation. Like I made sure that he knows that he was important. So it gives him more of it makes him feel probably worse um to want to leave. I also, again, I try to use the tactic of threatening him, and I said that I have another candidate, which again, honestly, I feel like it was a mistake because this will then only make him feel better about leaving, even though I boosted his self-esteem. He knows that, okay, well, if I do leave, at least I'm leaving knowing that I can hire someone to take over his place. That's honestly something that I should have kept to myself, at least until the end. Um, I also feel like if I was gonna go with this approach of like threatening, which I've done twice already, I probably should have been a little bit more aggressive. I seem a little too passive, here.
A potential of me leaving you, right? Don't have any availability.
No,
Um,
we don't even have an office there.
you don't have an office in Geneva.
Not mine, we do.
What happened?
But it's just like, that's kind of like not up for discussion
Why?
because that one is just, that one, that office,
Are you closing the office or does it not
Yes.
exist? So you're closing the office in Geneva.
it's just like that office not even up for discussion. Like,
Okay, so this in this clip right here, this was possibly my biggest weakness, my biggest mistake that I made. Clearly I blatantly lied about the office in Geneva. I did this to try and get him to not even think about Geneva. I tried to lie to make it so that he knows that that's not even the picture. However, I could have done this. I could have gone about this completely differently instead of lying. Clearly it backfired on me because as soon as I lied, I immediately regretted it. Um, and he knew I was lying. And then I followed that lie with another lie by saying that it's with another lie, like about the office in Geneva saying that it's going to close when it's not. Um, this was a terrible approach. This and for any other future debates, I feel like it's not good because I instantly lose all credibility, which again made me look bad and it made him feel like clearly I'm lying. And there could be many potential other things that I'm lying about, which would then make it easier for him to want to leave this job.
Solely having to prioritize my future family and my personal relationship rather than my career. And my other offer will allow me to do both. So it's nothing against you, but it's just what.
So in the end, we came to no agreement. He discussed that his biggest priority was his family, and I was not reasonable enough with him. I feel like I should have maybe been more reasonable in seeing that he only cared about being close to his family and not so much about things like salary or job benefits. Some of my strengths in this video, however, were that even though I was not complying with a lot of the things, I did a good job of making him feel like I did, like I cared, and like I would constantly ask him like what he wanted out of me, so that he could possibly stay in this office and not to take up the other offer. Throughout this, I honestly learned that people respond based off your energy. Um, and that's pretty much predetermines how the rest of the negotiation will go. That's why I made sure to stay on the more passive side so that he doesn't get angry, and aggressive. So that he also doesn't get aggressive. Overall, I feel like I need to work on my strategy a lot more. I should have been more strategic and smarter about it. Though I did display a lot of strengths um throughout the video or this negotiation, there was a lot of mistakes that I made that made me seem very unreliable and kind of drew the meeting in the opposite direction than from what I would have wanted.